I wrote this in efficient code on purpose. You know why? Because I wanted to see that if anyone could point it out. No one pointed it out, which means that everyone watching my tutorial is really beginner level. Now, how did I know that this code is inefficient? This code is inefficient. This is how you... Now, I'm going to show you how you find out the bugs and the inefficient bugs. Okay? Now, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at this. Now, what is our goal over here? Our goal is to try to our goal is to make loops. We are using function as loops here, right? No one guessed this out, right? We're using function as loops here. We are trying to we are trying to keep on calling this till the user enter integer which is greater than 5 or less than 5 and is going to bring complications. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating another simple program for you guys. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be saving this as inefficient.py. Now look what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be writing a function loop. Now let's say what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be writing a main function. Or I can write inefficient. Now this is a function, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be checking if count is less than 100, count plus equals to 1. And here I'm going to specify count as 0. 0. And here I'm going to globalize. I'm going to tell the function to use the global count, which we'll get into later. Now what I'm trying to do here, now we have came across a new thing, and this is global. Now there are scopes, okay? You can define a variable in the normal global scope, which is outside. Whatever variable you define inside a function is a function scope, and like that. So when we want to use a global variable which is not inside the function, we have to write global count. So the function knows that it has to use the global variable. Global means global. Yes, it means international. So now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing this and then calling main. And now also I'm going to print count, so you see what happens. Now let's try to run this. If name is equivalent to main, then we want to run main. Okay, now let's save this and let's run Python inefficient.py. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to be running inefficient because I named the function inefficient. Now there we go. Let's save it and let's run it. Now this works like a loop. Let's add more. Which happens, it adds for the count. It adds 1 and 1 till the variable becomes 10,000. But now there we get an error. Maximum recursion depth exceeded while calling a Python object. This is what you get when you write inefficient code. It works, of course, it works similar to the loop, but it's going to give you very much errors because you done it inefficiently. This is the efficient way of doing it. You're trying to do a loop in a function. Let's make a now there we go. Now how do we do it efficiently? This is how we do it efficiently. While count is less than, you can put how much number you like in here, and then you can say print. No, we can add count. We can add 1 to the count, and then we can print count. So we see. Now look, it's much simpler, much lesser lines than this. Let's run it. You can add how much you like because this is the efficient way to do stuff. There we go. It never brings a recursion depth error. It's going to go on and go on and go on. The problem is because you try to make a function, make a loop out of a function, because Python is not built that way. This is how people write inefficient code. Like, how did it hit me? Because I thought that function is not created to make loops, and this is what exactly we was doing here. We was writing loops. Let's just stop this. We was doing loops. We're doing loops until the user entered the right number. Now, if you was not a beginner, you will be understanding my point. But don't worry, if you're not a beginner, you are going to soon enough understand everything, because this is the way I learned. Believe it or not, this is the way I learned to code. When I first started, I started by creating programs, and I never ever knew what I was typing into the keyboard, which I got to know later on. But what I could understand, I understood. What I couldn't, I just left it. Now what I'm going to be doing is removing this whole main loop. It's called a function loop, which it really gives me the... I wrote it, you know why? Because I wanted to teach you guys about functions. That's why I wrote it. Now let's remove this whole function. Okay, let's remove this whole function and let's write it an efficient way. If you don't want to write it, you could just, you know, like kind of commenting it. That would be a better way, like this. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be creating a loop. So what I'm going to be saying, while user entered is equivalent to fails, you're going to be doing this. Okay, and we don't want to be calling main, we don't want to be calling this yeah. And let's just comment this. Now what is this going to be doing? I'm going to explain the code now. Okay, I'm going to create a boolean value, which is something like a variable, but it can take in true or fails. Now user entered is always fails, because if the user entered is fails. Now while user entered is fails, it is going to bring this key, and this is trying this. It's going to be trying to make an integer out of what he typed in, because if he typed in an integer, I could successfully make an integer, and if he had typed in something that's not a number, I cannot be doing this. It's going to give me an error. So I'm putting this into a try and accept clause. So it's going to try this, and if this goes successfully, that's good. But if it doesn't go successfully, it's kind of like the user didn't type in a number. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be checking all of this. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is, yeah, we're going to try doing this, and we are going to be putting this whole thing inside here. So it's gonna make it a number, an integer. If he has typed an integer, it's gonna convert it to an integer, and it's gonna immediately check if he had put greater than 5 or less than 1, because we want the number to be between 1 to 5. And then we forgot the indentation here, which is for yeah, there we go. Now if this didn't somewhat work out because of what he done, it's gonna print you didn't type in a number, freakhead. Now if he types in correct and everything is right, then if user choose is greater than 5 or it's less than 5, which means he typed in something which is less than number 1 or greater than number 5, is going to bring this error. But let's say he typed in something between 1 to 5, then we are going to be making user entered true. So then this loop will stop. Okay, now I'm going to save this and I'm going to run this. Guess.py. Now let's choose a number. Okay, let's first of all try to enter massive code like last time. Let's put a string. There it doesn't work because this tried to convert the what I typed in massive code. It tried to convert it to a number using this built-in function, but what happened was this it gave an error since it was not a number. So once it gave an error, I said that if any error comes, you got to do this. So Python prints you didn't type in a number, freakhead. and I can now type in A, B, C, D, E, and any number, and I can type in 7, won't work. I type in 0, won't work. But if I type in a number between 1 to 5, which is 3, there we go, the program kind of exits because it has got the number, because I didn't tell it what to do further. Now you see, now you saw like there's a big efficiency, like you can write code that will work, yes, but for it'll bring bugs later on. Like if you saw in the last tutorial, I ran and it was fine, but when I tried to like enter multiple letters and hit enter, and then when I type in a number between 1 to 5, it gave the error. Now you see, that was it. Now if you want to know why any error was happening or anything, I'm going to be explaining all those in the end, but now let's focus on creating the program. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be like closing all of this. I can be using functions, but I don't want to be using functions. I'll see if I need to. When I need to, I'll be using it, but now I don't need to. There we go. Now what I want to be doing is I want to be, if he typed in 1 to 5, now I want to be like giving the, you know what I will call the, now if you are ever wondering why I imported time, I want to give it like a time effect. So I'll be showing, let's say now okay, if he entered, user enter becomes true, and this while loop stops, which means he has entered something from 1 to 5. Now what I'm going to be doing here is, since this user entered became true, which means he really entered something between 1 to 5, I am going to be sleeping, I'm going to be printing, no, okay, I'll be doing this down here to make it more easier for you guys. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making something called a count, okay, a count, and I'm going to make the count 10, okay. Now again I'm going to be using the while loop here, so let me just make this small. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to again be using the while loop. I'm going to be saying while count is not equivalent to 0. So if while count is not 0, now count is 10. So this, I need this to be running, so that's why I'm doing this. And now while count is not 0, you are going to sleep 1 second, or you're going to sleep like half second, because half second, 0.5 seconds, and then you are going to be reducing count once, because we want count reduce, and we want to print. What do we want to print? We want to be printing deciding your fate, and then we need this stuff. And now this is how you concatenate strings, which means, let's say we want to print now something that is not a string, which is a changing value. Let's say we want to print count here, so we're going to print count. So deciding your fate in count. So it's going to be saying 10. Then the second time is going to sleep for a half second, and then then count is going to be 9, 8, and so on. Now let's save this, and let's see how it runs. Now let's type in a number like 4, and there we go. Now deciding your fate in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. We want this kind of effect. So there we go. Yeah. Let's put this on top, because I want to be like printing 10, 9, 8, because I don't want to reduce 1 and then print. Yeah, I thought I closed the CMD. Oh my god, what am I doing? CMD, Python. Oh, I go to the directory desktop, Python, yes.py. Now let's choose the number 3, and there we go. Now this is going to complete. Now once this completes, I want the program to actually give the user his fate. So I'm going to do a little bit of interesting part here, and I'm going to be making the fate. So fate 1 is you are going to die. Oh my god. Fate 2 is, now we want 5 fates here. You are going to be rich. Fate 3, you are going to get a car. Fate 4, you are an idiot. Why are you playing this game? Yeah, too many exclamation marks. Fate 5 is, wow, you are going to graduate. Now what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be saving this. Now I have wrote the fates. Fate 1, you're gonna die. You're gonna be rich. You're gonna get a car. You are an idiot. Why are you playing this game? Why are you gonna graduate? Now this have too many exclamation marks. Yeah, I know that. You gotta put exclamation marks at English grammar. Now what we're gonna be doing is we are gonna be choosing random from. We're gonna be choosing a random fate. What are you gonna be doing? We're gonna be choosing a random fate. Yeah, we're gonna be doing that again, and that is import random, because we want Python to pick a random one from these. So we are not going to be choosing the fate of the person who is playing our game. The computer is going to choose the fate for the guy who plays our program. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using random dot choice, okay, random dot choice, and then I'm going to be putting a sequence. This is the way how it's done. Fate 1, Fate 2, we put a list, okay, the list of all the things it wants to choose from, and we talked about list in the previous tutorial when we're creating the login program. So here we go. This is going to choose from Fate 1, Fate 2, Fate 3, Fate 4, and Fate 5, and we have put it into a list. And now we need to print this one, and print. Before we print this, we have to put your fate, and there we go. Your fate. This has to be inside two quotes, since this doesn't have any meaning, and there we go. Now let's hit Ctrl S on the keyboard and let's run the program. Python guess the pie. Let's enter number. Let's enter 4. Your fate, you're going to get a car. Let's again play this. Let's enter 2 this time. You're gonna be rich. Let's enter 2 again. You're gonna be rich. 2. Your fate, you're an idiot while playing this game. So it's totally random, and oh my god, last time I commented this line, this sleep, so it kind of brings, there we go. That's why it doesn't. Yeah, this is what we need. I commented this because I was doing some testing and I was trying to figure out the random module, how it works. And by the way, if you by the way, I haven't used random module for so long, and if you want to know how I got this, I check the docs. So how I check the docs, there we go. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to write Python docs random. So here this is the Python doc, and here, there we go. I'm looking at this, I understand this. You will soon enough understand this when you become like intermediate level. There we go. Dot choice and a sequence, and returns a random element from the non-empty sequence if index error. Okay, so I'm gonna close this right now. It works perfectly fine. We just want to put like an empty line separating this one and this. How do we do it? We put the \n. That kind of brings a new line. It prints a new line. You'll be seeing now 4 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. There we see that line. You're an idiot while you're playing this game. There we go. This is how we build the Guess Your Fate program. If you didn't, oh yes, I want to tell you something. If you didn't understand anything, please don't give up. This is the way you need to learn. Some things you will not understand, but write this tutorial, play this game, experiment. Like, I know this is like too complicated for you if you are in the beginner stage, and I was talking about bugs and inefficiency and all, but this is the way you will learn. If you have any questions, or you are stuck in any part of the program, please comment and I will answer you. I will make you understand every line. If you have any trouble in writing this program, or you want to understand a depth of maybe the try, except, or the while loop, but this is pretty basic, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye. But just before I wrap up this video, I want to give a big challenge to the intermediate people who is watching my videos. Since the video is getting too long, I'm gonna make it fast. So guys, to put it fast, let's take the old, no, not new file, let's take the old one. I made a challenge, and this is the challenge here. Now this one is the inefficient way to write loops. You write function as loops. Now what my thing here is, look, let's come here and let's write Python challenge.py. Now I have a question. Now what happens when I write AA, BB, CC, and tell me why isn't this a good idea? Tell me, okay, why is this inefficient? If you can just explain to me why this is inefficient, or why this error is coming. Now let's put the number, and why is this error coming, and why does it print these errors? Because this is the challenge. Tell me why is this inefficient first, and tell me how this error get printed. Like, let's say I print Python challenge.py. Now I put A, B, C, and then when I put number 5 and hit enter, now what happens is says, why is this trying to be ran again? If you can give me the explanation of this inefficiency and how this was caused. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. In the comment section you can post your replies. My next video will be the answer to this, why is this inefficient, and why kind of these errors come, and how it comes, and the logic behind it. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye. I hope you complete this challenge, and if you didn't complete this challenge, you have to subscribe, which means you are really bad at Python. See ya.